Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining our webinar today. I appreciate that. And we've got some people that are, I see, joining right now. So some folks are logging in. So we're going to give it a minute or so. But I did want to introduce myself and my guests. So I'm Rick Uzzi with Zecorum, and my guest today is Derek Kaminsky from Southern FiberNet, and we are going to be talking about video and specifically, cable TV, IPTV, basically a video offering, and that has become more difficult, especially for cable operators and others that have a lot of investment in that. So we'll be talking about that. But the good news is you can continue to offer video, or you can jump into offering video and not have that cost as much as you might think, and have your own product to be able to do that. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So first off, I did want to kind of go over a little bit about Zecorum and what we do, and then Derek's going to tell you about Southern FiberNet, and then we're going to go right into the presentation. So we are a company, a lot of you may know us, we've been in this business a long time, since really the company started in 94, 95, really earlier than that as a bulletin board service, prior to the internet really taking off. And then when the internet took off, we started as an internet service provider in the Atlanta area called America.net. That's when I joined the company back in 95. And pretty quickly, we switched over to providing wholesale managed services to other internet service providers. That would be phone companies at the time that wanted to provide internet, but also just entrepreneurs that were, at the time, you could do dial-up with nothing more than having some modems and connecting up to the phone company with your normal telephone service. So that's how we started, and quickly moved to cable service providers as they got in the internet business. So telephone providers, cable providers, today utilities, wireless providers. We provide managed broadband services, everything from hosted email, technical support for the end user, diagnostics for their broadband equipment, cybersecurity, CALIA services, all kinds of managed services that we provide. And as you see there in the tagline on the slide, reducing costs, increasing efficiency, and improving the subscriber experience. So that's what we are about. We've been doing this a long time. And Derek, why don't you tell us about Southern FiberNet?
Sure. Thank you, Rick, and thank you everyone for your time today. So Southern FiberNet. So quite simply, we're a one-stop shop, turnkey white label IPTV solution platform. So whether you're an ISP offering broadband services to residential customers or to MDUs, or whether you're a cable operator, a municipality, or you're an electric co-op, we help you defend against broadband churn. We help grow your average revenue per user with our premium branded streaming experience. So Southern FiberNet was founded in 2013. We're based in Atlanta, Georgia. We have our data center at 55 Marietta downtown. That's Marietta 55 and 56. So we have over 30 operator customers nationwide. So our service works across the entire country. We even have a customer in Hawaii. And they're comprised of cable operators, ISPs, municipalities, and ISPs that service both the MDU and residential market and electric co-ops. So at a high level, our infrastructure is based on the customer having edge caches and transcoders on their premise. And those are connected back to our facility in Atlanta with a dedicated point-to-point circuit connection. So that ensures the best performance for the end user. So this is not an over-the-top solution. It is a closed IPTV network solution using your network.
Mm-hmm. And so Zecorum and Southern FiberNet are partners. So you can get Southern FiberNet services. You would contact us to do that. And before we get started here, I wanted to share just a couple of polls to just kind of get a feel for where our audience is on how they're providing cable TV services today. First is kind of how you're currently doing video. So if you could take a moment, if you're not doing video. So if you want to take a moment here just to answer one of these, or this question you see here. So a couple of ways people could do it. They could be a traditional cable provider today, and let's say QAM-based cable TV, pay TV. Some are reselling over-the-top video services, one or more, and then some are just pointing people to streaming services. So they might have on their webpage links where they can go sign up for those services, and they're really not doing anything other than recommending. So I am collecting some data now, and here we'll take a look at this poll. I think that's probably it. Let's see what we've got. So it looks like interesting. So at this point, as far as those who have logged in already, it looks like we've got 14% that are traditional cable operators, 71% providing an IPTV service over their broadband network. So it's interesting that we've got folks like that joining today, and maybe they, one of the things that you'll find today is that even if you're doing IPTV on your own, it still may be a lot that you're doing that you don't necessarily, that you could offload to somebody else. So we'll be talking about that. Nobody at this point is just only doing the recommending of streaming providers, which is good. So you're not just passing that off to somebody else. We do have 14% that are, I'm sorry, there's 14% are directing that. No one is reselling the OTT services. So let's close that. I've got one more that I wanted to run here just to see where people are going to be, what they're thinking about. So if you are providing traditional cable, we didn't have too many, but if you're providing any kind of video service today, let's say, are you planning on discontinuing that? Yes or no, or maybe you're considering it. Maybe you haven't thought about it. Looks like we've got many that are considering it. I'll share these results here in a minute. I'm watching them come in. So I'll share those results. So you see here, I think everybody can see that we've got 86% that are considering this, and then 1% saying they're still offering it. I guess they're still offering it, not considering it. So that's interesting information. I'm hoping that I'm hoping that you will discover that that is something you may want to reconsider what you're considering there. And Derek's going to go through kind of the case for that on as we talk about the challenges, which may be one reason that you're reconsidering, or that you're considering dropping video, but also the opportunity that you have through SFN. So Derek, why don't you take it over from there?
Yeah, so jumping straight to 86% of cable considering stopping their cable service. So let's just go to that. So if you're offering legacy cable, we expect that you think your OpEx costs are too high, you're getting too many customer calls, too many truck rolls, essentially too much work for no profit. Maybe you have to renegotiate your TV programming contracts. So this is where SFN can come in and help you with all of these points. So we can decrease your OpEx costs, we can decrease your customer calls, truck rolls, we'll increase your profit, and we take care of all of the TV programming contracts for you. National channels, local retrans, we do it all. So that makes it very easy for you. So I think we can eliminate a lot of your headaches if you're offering legacy cable. So going up to the top, if you're an ISP that's not offering any video service, so in this case, we think that broadband by itself will soon become a commodity. There's always somebody around the corner that might be offering a lower price for just broadband, if that's all you have. I'll take an example, my case. So at my house, I've been on Comcast broadband for a while, but AT&T is coming in and digging up our neighborhood. So I have no loyalty with Comcast. If AT&T comes in and gives me a better price, guess what? I'm going to switch to them. So that's a classic example of price being the driver. So what we're doing with SFN IPTV is offering you a value-added service, TV streaming, bundle it with your broadband, increase the value of your broadband. So this will decrease your churn. Your broadband subscribers will be happier. And this is an additional revenue stream for you. So even if you're just reselling DirecTV Stream, you're not making much profit with that. We can give you more profit. If you're just telling your broadband subs to go off and sign up for their own OTT service, YouTube TV, Hulu, whatever, you're losing that revenue stream. So also we can provide you a branded experience that's promoting your brand. We can help you promote things that are very specific to your local market. We can adjust our program guide to highlight something that's very hyper local, as I call it. So we can promote a live local sporting event in your area. You can promote whatever you want on your branded channel. So we can do all these things for you. So Rick, I think we can go to the next slide.
Yeah, I was also going to say that, speaking of, reasons not to drop it and competition and commodity and all of that, here in Atlanta, we've got Comcast, we've got AT&T fiber like you do. And I think also in your area, because you're very close to us, we're also in Georgia here in the Atlanta area. We've got T-Mobile now advertising, I think $30, $40 a month for broadband for 3 or 5 years or something crazy like that. So it really does help to differentiate yourself, to have these services. These bundles have worked since the very beginning, but the problem has been just the amount of work it has gone up and the amount of profit has gone down. So that's what we're trying to resolve here for these guys.
So we presented the problem. There's always an opportunity with any challenge, right? So, but to be very clear, consumers still want and need TV, and TV streaming surpassed cable a few years ago already. So streaming is here. It's a reality. People want it. And if you're not providing a great TV streaming experience, again, the competition is probably offering it, some form of TV streaming, and you're losing those dollars to third parties like YouTube TV, Hulu, and DirecTV Stream. So what we're proposing is you look at getting the right partner to provide IPTV service, and Zecorum combined with SFN would be a great partner for you to be a long-term strategy to retain and grow your broadband subscriber base. Mm-hmm. So our solution, quite simply, helps you retain and add customers, and we maximize your profit. So even if you're offering, reselling something else like DirecTV Stream, we can bring you more profit than they would. So looking at the growth potential revenue-wise, so if your market is MDUs, we can bring you an additional $3 to $5 profit per door per month. If you're selling to residential subscribers, we can get between $12 and $15 profit for you each month from each residential sub. How do we do that? So we're going to reduce your churn. We're going to keep your broadband subscribers very happy. They're going to enjoy their TV service. Since it's bundled with the broadband, it creates additional stickiness. If they have two services from you that they enjoy, everything's on one bill, it's convenient, it's got all the features that they want, they're going to be happier. They're going to stay with you. And very importantly, we're going to promote your brand within our application. So instead of you providing a third-party IPTV solution, you can have yours. It's got your brand on it. And as I mentioned before, we can actually create a virtual channel within the program guide. So it can have your name on it. You can call it, you can promote whatever content you want, whether it's the live local Friday night high school football game, whether it's a looping video, promoting something you want, some service. It could even be, for example, a self-help channel where you run a video that loops where your subscribers can easily go to get any new information that you want to share with them. So we can customize the app with your brand, and we can talk about additional customizations we can do specifically for your locale, something that DirecTV Stream cannot do, YouTube TV cannot do.
Yeah, and I forgot to mention, if you're watching the webinar and you have a question, feel free. There should be controls up there in the webinar interface where you can ask a question. We'll take those, and I'll anticipate a question right here, Derek. So I see the $12 to $15 profit. How do you kind of come up with that? How do you figure that as to what they might be able to make?
Yeah, so a few years back, I think it's fair to say that YouTube TV kind of set the benchmark for over-the-top video streaming pricing. Typically for their most popular lineup, it starts somewhere around $80 per sub per month. After the promotional period, maybe it's $85, $86 per sub per month. So what we do with our no frills, no fluff channel lineups, we come in with aggressive pricing that are pre-negotiated for you with the TV broadcasters, programmers. So we can give you a price point that is below that retail price that DirecTV and YouTube TV are offering. So the difference between the YouTube TV retail price and our cost is your profit per sub per month, quite simply. So it depends on which channel lineup you offer. And there's also additional things in our roadmap that can help you increase your added additional revenue streams per month. I'll get into that a little bit later, but well, I'll mention it right now. So some things we're working on are like ad insertion within the program guide. And maybe you want to upsell adding additional recording storage space to your subscribers. These are things that are additional revenue streams to you. So you can easily get to an additional $15 per sub per month profit per month on the residential side. The MDU profit margin is a little bit lower just because this is a bulk pricing, but what you lose in the profit upside per sub, you're making up in volume, because typically MDU market, you've got a higher volume that you're working with, more doors.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, like YouTube, they kind of launched in the market with a really low price. I know that was very disruptive to a lot of cable operators. I think it was $45. Might have been $45 when they first launched, and it was that for a while, and it kept inching up. So they were buying market share, I think, and now they, as you mentioned, they're up to like $85 a month. So we're back now to an opportunity point where folks can again get in the business and have a lot of the advantages of not just an over the top product like YouTube TV and offering or pointing people to that, but they can actually have their own business. So have their own branded video service.
So how do you get deployed with our solution? It's very easy to launch and operate. So we can get you up and running in 60 days or less. So typically what that involves, just at a very high level, we'll get you, there's a setup portion where we actually create your branded applications, whether it's on a Fire Stick, on a Roku stick, Android TV, Apple TV. So we create the branded app for you to test within your staging environment. And then once it's ready, then we will publish the app for you on all those different online stores, whether it's Roku, Apple, Amazon, Google Play. So it takes a couple of weeks for you to test it, then we publish it, and we install we get the equipment installed on your premise, the edge caches and the transcoders, and yeah, within 60 days you're up and running. So we have a dedicated program management with Zicorum. So we'll have the kickoff call and then take you step by step through the onboarding process. It's very straightforward, very easy. So as I mentioned before, SFN handles all the TV programming contracts. There's nothing for you to negotiate at the national level, at the local level. We do all the local retrans as well. And our solution is scalable. So you can start with the minimum amount of equipment and you only pay as you grow. So let's say you get to, over 500 devices or subscribers. There may be a point in time where you need to add an additional edge cache server. So you only need to add that at the time you need it. So pay as you grow. And we also integrate with any existing billing system you have. We've worked with all the major ones across the country. So that's included as part of the setup fee. And so once you're launched, you'll find that our app is very easy to learn, very easy to use. Everything, all the features are left, right, up, down, center button on the remote. And our performance is the highest performance compared to the OTT providers. So we have 1-second channel changes because of the on-premise equipment. We support all the most popular retail bring your own devices. So whether it's a Fire Stick, Roku TV, Apple TV, Android TV, we support the mobile devices on iOS and Android. And we also support Android set-top boxes that really mimic what you would consider the traditional cable box experience. So, when you power off the box and the TV, and then when you power them back on, you're automatically brought back to the last channel that you were viewing live within the SFN app or the app that has your brand. And these boxes and remotes actually support voice commands. So you can around 40 voice commands, you can say things like the channel name, and it'll tune the channel. You can say record, it'll bring up the record screen. You can say things like rewind 30 seconds, it'll do that. So that's only available on those Android boxes, but yeah. So I think our user experience is the best you'll find within the TV streaming market.
So yeah, really what you're saying is there's a lot of flexibility there. So they don't have to provide a set-top box. They can have a list of devices that are supported that they can provide their customers, or they can provide a streaming device like a Roku or a Fire Stick, or they can provide the Android box if they want to do that. But I think the beauty of it is, again, there's a lot of flexibility there. And then also the streaming devices, because again, streaming is here to stay. People are going to still stream Netflix, Disney, some of those services. But with something like the Roku, for example, or the Fire Stick, you can have the SFN app and the Disney app and the Netflix app. They're all in the same place. And you go and you can give customers what they want, which is their streaming experience plus their linear live TV, local channels, sports, and all that stuff through SFN.
Yeah, SFN provides the linear content, but you still have all of your existing, over-the-top apps that you want. Those are not replaced with us. Mm-hmm. SFN IPTV is just an additive service focused on the linear content, national and local channels. Mm-hmm. And in many cases, your subscribers already have these devices, right? Whether it's a Fire Stick, a Roku Stick, Apple TV. So that's no CapEx for you because they already have the device. The only additional CapEx is if you want to make a promotional offer, maybe you supply Roku sticks or Fire Sticks as a promotion. And then if you are interested in the Android set-top box, that's obviously something that you would buy directly from them, as long as it's a Google certified TV streaming device, Google TV certified, then it will work with our solution.
I'm going to ask a couple of questions here that came in because we're kind of at the spot that was mentioned, but Donald asked, does that $12 to $15 profit include the cost of retransmission consent?
Yeah, so we handle all of the retrans as part of our pricing. So yeah, that profit is inclusive of any retrans cost that you would have.
Okay. Let me see if there was something else. I might save a couple of these for the end. Yeah, I'll save these others for the end, but that was one I wanted to cover since we had talked about that. All right, let's, next slide here. And oh, by the way, hang on. I was going to say, we've got a few more slides, but we're going to show you a demo of the interface. So I know that's probably something on people's mind as well, as what does this look like? And is it something that my customers would want? So we'll get to that here in a minute.
Yeah, so to summarize why customers have chosen us. So quite simply, we talked about this already, we promote your brand, your logo shows up in various places within our application. Device flexibility. So in many cases, your subs already have these devices, so you don't have to buy them for them. And the application the look and feel is very seamless across all the different devices. So the Fire Stick and the Google, the Android app is identical. So is Apple TV, Roku. There's slight differences, but these are differences that you would learn within the first 2 minutes of using the app. And as far as the feature set, standard offering with this is Cloud DVR. So the standard offering is 112 recording hours that the end user gets. Catch-up TV is included. So you'll see in the demo, you can rewind up to 24 hours in the program guide and play back something that aired midnight the night before. You can play it or record it. So that's all standard within the experience. And I think you'll see that it's very easy to use and learn. And I mentioned before, we offer a very, very good price point because we offer channel lineups that have essentially no fluff channels. So these are channels that people expect. We don't add anything else that would bring up the price point. And we also have, I'll talk about the different tiers we have on the channel lineups, but yeah, there's premium tiers, there's sports channels as well. And as far as the infrastructure, so fully redundant. And as I mentioned before, the end user performance, the channel change speeds is super quick. The app navigation is very quick because of the fact that we deploy equipment on your premise, the edge caches and transcoders that optimizes the user performance. And overall, compared to like a legacy cable system, much less equipment to maintain. And if you're legacy cable, we can reclaim that QAM bandwidth very seamlessly. So that's another advantage of changing from legacy cable to our IPTV solution. And
yeah, I think something like 400 megahertz of bandwidth a lot of times is used for video that can be reclaimed to provide broadband if somebody wants to migrate to the solution, if they're a cable operator. I'm going to take a moment to ask another couple of questions. I've got one here from somebody who's watching, and I thought I'd tee it up here with this question. So, people may be wondering what are the technical requirements on their end? What do they actually need? Again, it's a lot less than if they were going to do all of this on their own, but what do they need on their end? And there's a question here that I think is related from Ted that says, how is the point-to-point configured and what is the average cost monthly for this connection? I don't know if you can average that out, but I know that there is a connection needed. So why don't you go through kind of what they need on their end?
Yeah, the main technical requirement would be that you would have to have a dedicated point-to-point circuit connection back to 5556 Marietta here in Atlanta. And we actually also, something that's newly developed over the past couple of years is another option that makes the price cheaper. You'd have to kind of go off, research this yourself, but these are megaports, so we support these nationwide. So there's bound to be a megaport location near where you are, and this has driven the connection price point down significantly. I don't have an average, price point, but the prices have come down. So we can provide you with, as part of our discussions, we have a technical questionnaire that you'd fill out. And on that technical questionnaire, we have an actual URL where you can go and research which Megaport may be right for your area, and you can get the costs from them. So yeah, we recently signed an operator that said, yeah, because of the Megaport, it made it feasible for them to sign a contract with us because the pricing came down so much.
Yeah. So one of the things at the end here, well, you can always check zecorum.com/IPTV, and you'll see information up there. You can reach out to us, and we'll set up a presentation for you and get all those questions answered for you as far as costs go, from Derek, and as they look and determine what you might need and where you're located, those kinds of things. So that's all available there. All right. So tell us a little bit about the channel lineup.
Yeah, so we offer 4 basic tiers. The basic starts out with obviously your local channels plus some additional music channels. We put in there, you'll see local beach TV. So this, you could put your virtual channel, into any tier, but so you can build upon these. So these are additive channel lineups. So Core is the next one where we add a bunch of sports channels, and then Core Plus is kind of the similar channel lineup that you get from YouTube TV. Their most popular lineup kind of mimics what we have in the Core Plus. And then the premium is on top of that. So these are all additive. So the premium would include the Core Plus and the Core and the Basic. And actually what we've done, what we can tailor some of these. So we can actually, what we've done for a customer recently is they wanted to ingest their local, their regional sports, couple channels. So we were able to do that. So we can tailor the channel lineups a little bit, as long as you have the legal right to do so through your existing contracts, then we can ingest those for you. So yeah, I think we're offering the channels that people expect and nothing more, no fluff lineups. And we're also working on a couple of new tiers, so a new sports tier and a new news tier as well. So those are coming soon.
Okay, so here's where they figure out what they can make.
Yeah, this is your upside profits. So very simply, the more subs you add, the more revenue you make, right? So what we've assumed on this slide is a very conservative $8 profit per sub. So that's how you get the math. 600 subscribers times 8 times 12 months gets you to that 56,600. And as you add subscribers, your payback period obviously decreases dramatically. So obviously when you get above that 15, I mean, it's intuitive that the more subs you add, the quicker your payback period will be. So the third row there is return on investment capital, and the bottom row there is just assuming a 5-year period. Just the annual times 5 is how we get to those numbers.
And again, just to reiterate here, so this is based on what would be, I think, a conservative $8 per subscriber profit, right?
Yeah. So if you're like I mentioned earlier, if you're getting up to $12, $15 profit per sub per month with some of our value-added services that add additional revenue streams. So yeah, these numbers go up.
Yeah. Ben asked, how do you compare in price in YouTube TV? I think maybe he might be talking about like what they might charge at the retail price, but that brings up a question for me, which is, can they charge whatever they want? It's not like you have set prices that they have to charge, right?
So like I mentioned, the Core Plus channel lineup on the previous slide is kind of mimics what you'd get from the most popular YouTube TV lineup. So if they're coming in at a $90 price point, then we're coming in at something around $10 less than that. So the difference between the $10 difference between our cost and what they're selling it for is your profit.
Got it. Yeah. So it's really, but can they set their retail price if they want to make a little bit more and do that?
The retail price is always up to them. I mean, just as long as they have in mind what the other OTT guys are selling their service for. If YouTube TV is selling it for 80, 85, 87, then probably need to be somewhere in that ballpark. And
you mentioned like the DVR space. So basically, the price that you guys have includes 112 hours, I think it was, of
Yes.
DVR storage, but you said you're working on the ability to have tiers on that where maybe they can have a premium and that provides an additional level of profit for those
Yeah.
subscribers that want, right?
What we were working on is per account. If somebody wants to pay for 500 hours of recording, maybe that's worth an extra $5 per month for them to have, right? So that's an additional revenue stream for the operator. Yeah, that's something we're working on. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. All right.
Yeah, so this is a summary slide of us versus the other video solution options that you have. As you see on the top row, SFN checks all the boxes very proudly. So white label just means that you can brand it with your brand. We also have SFN TV Now. You can resell our brand if you want. That's the reseller logo. Or you can just give us your logo and we'll replace it with yours. And in the demo, you'll see where that shows up in the user experience. So it's got your brand promoted. The next column, economics. So, the OpEx, is it less? I mean, how much profit are you really making? That's what that column is. Third column, how easy is it to deploy? And then the next one, performance. This is really from the end user standpoint. So how quick is the channel changing? How quick is it to move around in the guide? Just the overall performance of the app. I think we excel in that. And customer service. So after we get you up and running and launched with real paying customers, I think you'll find, and some of our customer testimonials say this, is that we provide the best customer service. So you'll kind of see there, kind of the big misses. I'll just focus on the misses on where you see the red X. So with the over-the-top streaming solutions, so I have, this is just for competitive reasons in my house, I have DirecTV Stream with the SFN IPTV app next to it. So with DirecTV Stream, I'm changing channels. It takes 3-4 seconds to change a channel. Moving through the guide is very clunky, it's very slow. But with the SFN IPTV app, 1 second channel changes, boom. Navigating through the guide is very quick. So it's like night and day. Our performance is much better. So again, it goes back to us having equipment on your premise, the edge caches and transcoders with the direct circuit connection back to us in Atlanta. That provides the optimal performance. Moving down to TiVo. So TiVo, again, I would just argue our big advantage there is our customer service. My Bundle TV, I think some of you may offer this. So this is not an IPTV service. It's really a recommendation engine, which will essentially tell your broadband subscribers, okay, you want this type of content, well, then you should sign up for this OTT subscription. So it's really not an IPTV solution. It's just a recommendation engine. So that's why I don't really consider them really an option if you want to have a branded solution where you want to make the most profit possible. They just don't compare to us. And if you're providing legacy cable, again, it goes back to the too many truck rolls, customer calls. Maintaining the solution it's just been too expensive for you, so you're not making a profit. So those are. Yeah.
So the DirecTV thing, I know several that are doing that, and I think they're basically reselling the streaming service. So somebody may be doing that now. So you have kind of the basic overview here, but what are some reasons why somebody really should consider DirecTV if they say, well, why should I give that up? I think a lot of it might be profit, right?
Yeah, I think the number one reason is we'll bring you a lot more profit per sub per month, and again, the customer is going to be happier with our performance. We're running over we're running over. It's your brand. It's over your closed network, so the performance is better. We're not going over the open internet. It's just a better experience, and we'll bring you far more profit than DirecTV is going to bring you.
Yeah.
So this just kind of gives you an overview. So we're nationwide. Our TV programming contracts are nationwide. You'll see we have a customer in Hawaii even. We can support any U.S. Territory as well, so places like Puerto Rico. But yeah, so we've got 30 plus operator customers, trusted partners live. We actually are onboarding 2 more right now currently. Yeah, so moving to the next slide, you'll see some of the feedback from our existing customers. I believe that's the next slide. Yeah. So here we have 3 of our customers, Southwest Broadband. So since moving to SFN IPTV, we've seen measurable improvements across the board. Profit per sub has gone up, reducing broadband churn, no more legacy video headaches, fewer calls, no truck rolls. City of Wadsworth, affordable, reliable, above all, easy to work with. SFN has exceeded our expectations on every level. More than just a great product, SFN as a great partner. Amplex, SFN's video solution, it enabled us to grow our customer base. Partnering with SFN, seamless way to expand our offerings. So I think you'll find that Z-Quorum and SFN IPTV as your long-term partner will really address your business needs of retaining your broadband subscribers and maximizing your profit, and yeah, promoting your brand as well.
And yeah, let me mention also, you're talking about the level of support, and I just want to make sure that everybody's aware that we actually, you might be thinking, well, if we do get in the video business, then who's going to be helping the subscribers? So you may already have your own call center, and certainly you can do that. They can support this product from that perspective, but Z-Quorum can also do that for you. So we can provide optional end user technical support for these video subscribers, even if we're not doing, we do broadband support for operators around the country. But even if we're not doing that, we can support the video product. And even if we're not doing that, we're still probably going to wind up supporting some of the broadband connections. So if we get a call from somebody and they're having an issue with the video service, one of the first things we would do is check their connection, make sure that's working. We check their home Wi-Fi, whatever it is that, if they're watching it on a tablet in the kitchen, we will be trying to help them with those things, even if we're not supporting the broadband. So that's just something to keep in mind, that as an optional service, again, taking something off of your shoulders, we're trying to do the heavy lifting on that end. SFN's doing a lot of the heavy lifting on the technical end, the back end stuff, and the programming, all of that. So it really is a great combination of being able to have your own business and have some skin in the game with the equipment and the closed network, and then everything else kind of being taken care of for you. So what we're going to do now is show a demo of the interface. Derek would have loved to have done this live, but when he tries to do it live, you can't hear him. All you can hear is the broadcast video. So he went ahead and recorded a demo. So we're going to run that now. We'll both go off of camera, and I will share that.
I can always give you a live demo one-on-one afterwards. Yep.
Yeah, if we do a presentation for you later, I think he can do that. But trying to do it through this GoToMeeting interface is not working. So we'll go off camera, and then I'm going to run that video.
This is a demonstration of the SFN IPTV application. In my hand, I have a Fire TV remote, and I've just tuned this channel, but I missed the beginning. But that's okay. I pressed the OK button, and one of my options is to start the program over, which I just did. So I can always pause live TV. I can fast forward if I'm delayed. And on the top row, you can see how quickly I can go, forward and reverse. If I choose one of these icons, I can skip ahead 30 seconds to avoid commercials. I can do the same thing going backwards. And from full screen, if I press pause, you'll see that we do not obstruct the video in any way. Resume play. So by pressing the OK button, I display all of my program options for the live program that I'm watching. So if I go over to the right, 1, 2, 3. So with the Fire TV remote and the Roku TV remote, there are no number keys on them. So with this option, you can present a keypad. So you can directly enter the channel number that way. Going back to my options screen, I can always record what I'm watching, the single episode or all episodes. I can return to live. I can bring up the program guide. I can turn on closed captioning. So if I do that, if I change channels, the closed captioning will stay on, so it's persistent across channel changes. If I long press the CC option, I get 3 options for the size of the text you see on the screen. Within this screen, within this view, program options, if I go back to live TV, just to full screen, again, press the OK button, and then if I go down, I have other rows of content. What else is on that I might be interested in? What's trending in my area? The last 10 channels that I viewed. So if you only watch less than 10 channels, you'll spend a lot of time here. And my latest recordings. So these 4 rows are configurable. So we can change the order. If you want to present the last watch channels up top, we can do that. So going back to full screen, press OK, arrow down. This could be your last watch channels if you prefer. Going back to full screen, the main menu is accessed by pressing the right button on the remote. So you'll see the SFN TV Now logo appears in the upper right corner. This is our reseller logo. You can replace this with your branded logo. So a key feature with SFN IPTV is you can promote your brand, and your brand will show up in multiple places within the application. So if I select the guide, this is our traditional grid guide view, and everyone's used to this, right? In the upper corner, I can actually pause the video while I look for something else to watch or record. So if I go off into the future and let's pick something on a different channel. If I select this program, I can record it or auto-tune it. So if I select auto-tune in the general settings, I'll show you that later. And if I select it here, this program in the future will auto-tune as soon as it's aired. But let's just record this one for now. And do I want to keep just this episode or all episodes? If all, how many do I want to keep? I can keep up to 7. Let's just pick 5. And do I want just the new ones? Well, let's pick all of them, new and reruns. And okay, so now this program is scheduled to record. You can record as many programs as you want at the same time. There is a recording space limit of 112 hours. I'll show you that screen. And the recordings get saved for 7 days. So while I'm in the guide, I can go backwards in time. So we buffer the last 24 hours of programming. So if I go backwards to the current time, you'll see here the vertical blue line, that's the current time. So I can go backwards up to 24 hours. Let's pick a different channel. And so if we go back 8 p.m. the previous evening, I can select this program, I can play it or record it. So let's go back to full screen. I'll resume playing and bring up the main menu again. So channels is another view of the guide. So if I select that, you'll see the channels appear on the left side. And again, you'll see your logo there in the upper left corner. So again, the guide is very quick. The channel change times are 1 second or less, and our guide navigation is very quick. So from this view, I can switch between all channels and my favorite channel list. So by pressing the right arrow, now this is my sports favorite list. So I can toggle between the two. If I want to change my favorite list, if I want to, for example, remove this, I can long press it and remove it. If I go back to my all channels, and if I want to add something to my favorite list, NHL, long press it, and I can add it to my favorites. So we do a good job of not obstructing the video in the background with our menu structure. And if I go back to the main menu, airing now is the next menu. So this is all of the programming airing now grouped by category, by genre. Another way to help you find the content you're looking for. If I go back to the main menu again, recordings. Okay, so here's where you play back your recordings. So I've used 14% of my storage, which is 112 hours. And everything is grouped by the program title. Going back to my main menu, Restart TV. Another way to see all the content that you can restart that was aired before. So instead of going to the guide, you can come here per channel. You can maybe find the content that you're looking for more easily. Going back to the main menu, you can search for something within the guide. I'll pick something easy like golf. So this will return everything golf related that's available from the guide. Okay, going back to the main menu. So within settings, you can set up your favorite list here, create a favorite list, give it a name, and then pick the channels you want in your favorite list. Auto tune. So here's the general settings. So if I turn this on, the previous program that I selected in the guide for auto tuning will auto tune because I selected to turn it on here. Parental controls. So you can block content in the guide from being viewed. So you can pick which rating you want blocked. You can even block everything if you want that, and that will require somebody to enter the PIN that you select. Okay, the last feature I want to show you is something the user can select. They can choose a different guide view on the Fire Stick. So go to guide type, and instead of the classic grid view, they can select enhanced. And if I select OK, now if I go to the guide, you'll see it looks different. So all of the channel logos are much bigger. Again, this is very quick navigation within our app. So everything is bigger, but we lose the scaled video in the upper right corner. So it's a trade-off. Some people prefer one or the other. It's their option. They can choose whatever they want. So those were the main features I wanted to cover today. Thank you for your time.
Realized I
Rick,
muted yeah, I realized I muted myself. I didn't want to make any noise in the background. So we are back. So, all right. So I want to ask some questions here that we've seen come in. This is from Ben. He wants to know, what middleware do you use and how do you compare to innovative solutions? So I'm not sure if you know the answer to that. I know you probably are familiar with them, but
well, innovative
middleware, your guys, right?
Yeah, middleware is ours.
Yeah.
And yeah, innovative, I'm familiar with them. You know, I would just invite, is it Ben?
Ben, yeah.
Yeah, he can follow up with us and he can, we can get into further discussions of why we're better than innovative.
Got it. Casey asks, maybe similar question, and to confirm, this can be a custom branded app, not an SFN app that the customer downloads. We compete with Spectrum, so branding is important. So I guess in the app stores, it's their name, right?
100%. So when we create your branded app, you provide us the logo that you want to use. There's you know, specific requirements for the size, how many pixels, that kind of thing. But it's your logo, and then they will see that logo in the online store, whether it's Amazon, Google Play, Apple TV, Roku. They will see the operator branded logo, and that's what they would download. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Also from Casey, and this is a good question that probably needs to be addressed, is a live content available to view wherever you are in the country, so you can log into your app from a phone when on vacation and watch your local programming, etc.?
Yeah, so this is running over your closed IPTV network. We're not going over the top. So we have so we do all of the contract negotiations with the TV programmers. So we have to adhere to restrictions on where the content is viewed. So yeah, the simple answer is there's restrictions on where it can be viewed. It's a closed network. So we have to honor our, obviously we're honoring our contracts that way.
Yeah, and I believe, I don't know for sure, but I believe in order to do that, you actually pay quite a bit more for, you know, when service providers want to do that, there's quite a bit of a upcharge on that, being able to do that. Let's see, what do we have here? This is from Sam, is there a limit on the number of streams they can do in a home? I don't think so.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, 5 simultaneous streams.
Okay.
Unlimited number of devices. So you can, you know, when you log into the application on a device, you enter your credentials, your username, password, and then you can pick a unique device name. So you can have as many of those as you want, but only 5 at the same time can be streaming.
Got it. A couple of questions about price. You know, for example, if you're comparing to YouTube at $90. Would the cost to us be $80? There's also a question from, let's see, what was it? If the content cost is the same, how do you propose to deliver increased profits over what we have now? So I guess maybe cover the pricing again. I guess, can you give a ballpark price, or how does that?
I mean, we're coming in at a price point that's going to allow you to make a profit based on what these other OTT providers are selling at retail. You're going to make that, depending on which channel lineup you pick and what value added revenue streams you set up with us. Again, 8 to 10 is conservative dollars per sub per month profit, but we can get you higher, $12, $15. Let's talk about different ways we can get you that profit per month. But yeah. We're coming in at a channel lineup price point that's below what others are paying retail for, so that the difference between the retail price in the marketplace versus your cost that you're paying us, that's your profit.
Yeah. So yeah, I would say reach out to us, and we can do a presentation for you, and then also get some details. You can get an NDA and get that pricing, basically.
Yeah.
Right?
As far as getting into detailed pricing, of course, we need an NDA in place with you, and then we can get to the details of the price point. What I can share now is just the structure. We know there's a setup fee to get you launched on the online stores with your branded app. Then there's the channel lineup fee. Obviously, you're paying for the lineup that you want to resell to your broadband subs. And then there's a monthly recurring charge for the app maintenance. And then if you want it, there's the optional tier 1 call center support from Zecorum. That's an option to you. We have a level 2 support that includes our ticketing system, which is actually really mandatory, just because that's the best way for us to track any issues you may have, any questions. So it's all documented and accounted for. So yeah, it's a setup fee, the channel lineup fee, and then the monthly maintenance fee. But that's the structure. But once we sign an NDA, I'll be very happy to get into the details and discuss specifically your specific needs and objectives with the user experience, what kind of devices you want to support. Yeah, so would love to have follow-up calls with any of you.
Mm-hmm. Casey has a couple of questions here related to content. This is a good one. Is the local on the 8s available specific for our area on the Weather Channel, and then also our regional sports networks available?
Yeah, I think I mentioned earlier, we actually, one of our customers that we're onboarding, if this is the question, so we're ingesting some of the regional sports as part of their lineup. They had the authority per their contracts to do so we can ingest those. So yeah, as far as supporting your locals, again, it's not just a simple answer. We need to see what your intentions are, what you want to offer. We'll have a sit down with our CTO and make sure that yeah, we're able to support what you have in mind. From a local channel standpoint, ingesting anything that's specific to your area, so really, I'd love to just set up a follow-up call to get into those details.
And then Lenny asks, can we use this for businesses like bars and restaurants, hotels and motels? That's
a good question. As long as the business is on your closed network, as long as they are a valid on-net broadband subscriber, then yes, they can present our SFN app in a common area, in a bar, a restaurant. Yes.
What about rooms? Like, is that something that they could use in room if they're on your network, or
in what kind of room? Sorry.
Like in a hotel room where they can. Well,
hotel is a whole another market that may have specific requirements that would love to. Yeah, that deserves a follow-up discussion. There may be specific requirements for hotel rooms, like it needs to be a certain kind of device, like Fire Sticks may not be usable within a hotel room. Maybe it needs to be an Android box type of situation. I think, yeah, not a simple answer for what we need to do to support hospitality, but that's a great topic for a follow-up call. And what was the other question as part of that? I might have missed it. Just a room. So MDUs, obviously, we support. So we've got multiple operator customers that are launching with MDUs, and yeah, there's no issue. There's no issue using any kind of device in a multiple dwelling unit. It could be a Fire Stick, a Roku, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
The only requirement there is if you're obviously if you're an ISP, you have the you own the connection to the MDU. That way you can establish the private point-to-point connection back to us at 5556 Marietta. Yeah, obviously we can't sell this over the top in any way. It has to be via the closed network that we're providing.
Yep. And then, so if somebody's a new provider, this is a good question. Like, let's say there's a lot of electric co-ops that have started offering broadband in recent years and maybe, never got into video. But again, this is a great opportunity for them not to be a commodity, like you said, to be able to add some value to their service, create some stickiness. So, we've talked about the fact that a lot of the hard work is done for them, so they can do this. But what kind of take rate, if they've got a certain number of subscribers, could they expect, let's say, on the video service, do you think?
Yeah, up to 75% take rate.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, once they try it, and it's just a natural extension of the broadband service.
Yeah,
they're very complementary. Once they try it, they enjoy it. Yeah, that's the goal, 75%.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. See a couple of questions here from Casey. Casey, these are kind of, on how to do it more and technology wise. So, reach out to us, or we'll reach out to you and try to provide these answers for you. But I think that's something that needs to be in a discussion later. I don't see any other questions. So that was some good questions. Thank you, everybody. So again, you see here on your screen, you can give us a call, send us an email, and set up a demo. Derek can take you again through anything you want to see in the interface.
And I should add, once the NDA is signed with us, besides giving you our more detailed pricing, we'll give you a login so you can try the app yourself. Because that's there's more weight to you trying it versus me just giving you a demo, right?
Yeah, great point. Again, as I mentioned, you can go to zecorum.com/IPTV to get more information about the offering. But reach out to us. I appreciate everybody joining us today. Hopefully this was interesting for you and you got a chance to see something different that I think is really kind of a unique offering out there. There's a few companies that are doing certain things, but a lot of times they're just having you resell their service, and it's not anything with your brand. This is a really nice way to offer video over your network and not have to do a lot of the work, a lot of the hassle on that.
And I'll end it by saying this is a true end-to-end complete solution. I mean, we're really a one-stop shop with our partner Zecorum. So everything is within our umbrella for you to get launched with this service. Mm-hmm. So it makes it that much easier for you.
Yep. Great. Okay. So, and just want to let everybody know that you will be receiving here a follow-up email in a day or so with a link to the video. So if you wanted to watch something again or wanted to share this with somebody else, there you will have a video of this webinar sent to you here, I think probably tomorrow at some point. It'll just be sent out automatically by this platform, this webinar platform. So thanks for joining us, Derek. Thank you for your time. It's been great.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Rick.
All right. Everybody have a great day. Bye.